from the Hollywood Improv, it's the Nighttime Show. This week we are sitting here with Matt Walker, our head producer and writer and man about town, red-headed asshole, and me, Stephen Kramer Glickman. And we are sitting here in the green room at the Hollywood Improv. It is the Nighttime Show green room that we use to prep for our show every month.
And our guest bailed at the last minute, so It's just the two of us.
It's just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
And you know what? It's probably for the best because this is a solemn day. It really is.
It is, yes.
Because a friend of ours, Jon Schnepp, passed away this morning after being he had a stroke and then he was in a coma for
a week.
About a week.
Yeah.
And it was fucking brutal. And for me, aside from just missing this friend of mine, which is a fucking depressing thing, I knew about it since Saturday. It's now Friday, so I've known about this since Saturday and was kind of told to keep everything on the DL. And as you know, Matt, I suck at DL. I am the last person that needs DL. I need to talk to people. I have to have conversations.
You tell everyone everything.
I tell everybody everything.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting around. I told you. I told Mike Black because we've spent.
Yeah, like we all
just had him. We were all together for my birthday. We were all together for Thanksgiving. You know, so I was sitting around.
And just in case our listeners don't know who Jon Schnepp was, he was one of the creators of the TV show Metalocalypse.
Yeah, well, he
very talented.
Yeah, he directed Metalocalypse. He directed Venture Brothers. He was an animator on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He created the style and the editing style for Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You know, all that weird interview stuff. That's all him.
Yeah,
and he was just a fascinating, really, really cool guy.
And he loved comics.
Yeah.
Almost more than anybody I've ever met. And he made a documentary about the failed attempt to make a Superman movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. The Death of
Kevin
Superman Smith. Lives, What Happened, which was purchased by... You
can see it on Showtime, right?
Showtime, yeah. And airs regularly on that. And he's a Comic-Con favorite. Comic-Con is happening right now, which is just feels... It just felt like it would be weird to go knowing that he wasn't going to be there and that he was so sick. And what's so weird is that when someone is in a coma, I've never known anyone. Have you ever known anyone that was in a coma, Matt?
Well, Fat James.
Fat James was in a coma?
Yeah, I went to see him the day before they pulled the plug, and it was bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
I went with you to his house when he was...
Went to his house, yeah. Early on.
So then you went later.
I went to the hospital a couple times when he was near in the end, and that time it was like at the end of Return of the Jedi in the despecialized version when they take off Darth Vader's helmet and he's like pale.
Yeah,
it's weird. That's what Fat James reminded me of. Then it's all machines keeping him alive, and it was bad.
No.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
It was.
Oh.
I will never get that image out of my head, and he was such a great guy.
Yeah, so. No, it's so brutal, and what they, the fucked up thing with coma stuff is that they go, 99% of his brain is no longer working, and you go, so there's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's 1%. There's still a chance, and that's kind of fucked up, because you keep hope, which hope is like a great thing, but it also fucking sucks. Like,
I mean, I think I've been lucky in that almost all my relatives that passed away. My grandfather was like a long, slow decline, but every other relative that's died has basically been they lived till they were really old, and then all of a sudden they just died.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a long, drawn out thing where it's like for months and months and months in a hospital or whatever, where it's bad.
Because every single time that I was calling one of his friends to like check in on him, it would be like. It would be worse than the last time I called. Like they'd be like, oh, now his pancreas isn't working. And then you call back and they're like, now his liver and pancreas are not working. Then you call back and they're like, now his kidney stopped working, he's on dialysis. And then you call back and they're like, he fell into a volcano. You're like, what? Yeah. What do you mean he fell into a volcano? And they're like, a volcano opened up, he fell into it. And then you call back the next day and they're like, oh, you didn't hear there was an earthquake just in his bed. It was like every fucking time I'd call back, something worse. Yeah. It was so depressing. The only other person I've ever known that was in a coma was my father's dad, who was a piece of shit. He was a garbage person.
He's not the one who was missing his legs.
No. That was my mom's father.
Okay.
That was my grandfather. The grandfather I loved. But my
not the grandfather I didn't give a shit about.
This is the grandfather I didn't give a shit about. This guy, his name was Ralph Glickman. He was he went into a coma, and he was in a coma for like weeks. And all his sons, he has like 5 sons. They all came out and they all sat around him in the hospital bed. And my dad walks in, and who's a piece of shit, And he like walks in, and one of his brothers goes, did you have anything for lunch? And my dad goes, yeah, I had an egg salad sandwich downstairs in the cafeteria. And they go, oh, didn't you have eggs for breakfast though? And he goes, I did. And funny enough, I had hard-boiled eggs for dinner last night and an egg salad sandwich for lunch yesterday afternoon, and then yesterday morning I had scrambled eggs. And his father rises out of the bed. He sits up in bed, comes out of the coma, and goes, if you keep eating eggs, you're going to turn into an egg, and dies. That was his last words.
Those are the greatest last words in history.
I think so. They might be.
It's amazing, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Those are haunting last words. What do you want?
Don't they say that, like, wasn't it, maybe not Custer, but one of those guys that, like, is famous for dying, where they're like, no, they can't shoot me from all the way over. That's like, those are like his last words, something like that.
Oh, that's so funny. What do you want your last words to be?
Fuck all of you. I don't know.
Something like that?
No, probably not profanity. I'm not that big into profanity. I don't curse that much. Just like, you're all big disappointments to me. How about that?
That's good.
That'd be bad.
That would be bad. I like that.
Like, that would be fun bad. In fact, that would be my on my tombstone.
Oh,
you know, you're a giant disappointment.
I would love my last words to be, the money is buried at just that. The money is buried in, and then nothing.
Like Mad World. Be like, the money's buried under a giant W, and then people will travel all around the world.
Was that what that is?
Yeah. And then
I should do that.
It was those trees. Remember at the end of the movie, like, it would turn out to be trees that were shaped like a W, and they were going to like all these places where they thought it was a W and they didn't know what it was.
I had a near-death experience. You know that when I was living in New York City, and I
had a near-death experience. You drove.
Oh, you son of a bitch! You rat bastard!
We've had about 17 near-death experiences with you driving.
We've had a lot of those. I took penicillin. I was given penicillin for some. You know me. I'm always a pill guy. Yeah. People put me on.
You're
drugs
always going
to
doctors for like things that I would not go to a doctor for. I'm just suck it up and deal with it.
I'm consistently on antibiotics for some horrible thing,
which is terrible for you.
It's bad for your body. You shouldn't be on antibiotics.
You're going to make it sound like antibiotics aren't going to work when you really need them now.
Yeah, that's probably right.
You cried wolf with antibiotics to your body too many times now.
Well,
flesh-eating bacteria. Although actually that would be kind of useful for you a little bit.
You son of a bitch. They gave me penicillin. I took penicillin, and then I was allergic to it. So my face started swelling, and my neck started swelling, and I looked in the mirror.
And that's just how you are now.
Yeah.
That's
bastard.
What happened.
Everything, I looked like a couch with eyes. I looked completely different. It's horrible. I saw myself in the mirror.
Did you look like Cherry from Pee-wee's Big?
I did. I looked like Cherry from Pee-wee's. I looked so fucking scary. And Saba was there, and I said, "Call an ambulance," and he called an ambulance. And I hit the ground. I collapsed as they came in through the door. They hit me with the EpiPen, and then everything started coming back down. And they get me in the ambulance, and me and Saba are going in the ambulance on the way to the hospital in New York City. And I turn to him and I go, "Saba, you saved my life." And he goes, "It's okay, buddy, don't worry." And I go, "You can have free Juanita's tacos for the rest of your life." And he goes, "I get to have free tacos for the rest of my life?" And I go, "No, just from Juanita's taco shop." That was it. That's what it said.
So if you go to San Diego, do you take him to Juanita's tacos?
I always take him to Juanita's tacos. Yeah, and then I have to buy. Any other taco shop, he has to buy.
Okay. Yeah. But that place
is always on me forever. That's a fact. Yeah.
Well, we have some updates on podcasts that we've done. So we've had a lot of...
Wait. Okay. Before we do that, can I tell you one thing?
Yes.
One thing about Jon Schnepp before we move on, because it's too good.
Okay.
So Jon Schnepp, me, and Mike Black, who's always on this show, we wrote a pilot called Earth Med 9000.
Yes.
Right? and we had a deal with the Jim Henson Company to do this pilot or to try to make it.
Raise funds to get people to do it.
Yeah, you were there for the table read. We had a table read you were there for.
Yep.
And long story short, and you were like our science guy. You came in, you gave us all the facts.
I told you why everything you'd written was wrong. And
totally.
I was like, no, nerds are not going to...
Yeah,
nerds are going to be like, well, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Which is important. You know, like you want to have some nerd
like
cred.
Lucas needed that when he made Star Wars.
Yeah.
So people wouldn't joke about the parsecs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So long story short, Jon Schnepp, when we went out to go pitch, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I think I may have. When we
I
went
think I know where you're going.
Yeah, when we went to go pitch the show, we pitched it to a couple different places, and John was in rare form at some of these places we'd go pitch at. We went to Adult Swim, and we're sitting there in this room with this fucking 22-year-old little asshole. He had a bowl haircut, and he was a little hipster. And he was like there's only 3 people that really work at Adult Swim. There's that guy, there's the vice president, and there's the guy who runs the whole place. And this fucking guy, who's like head of content or whatever, goes, okay, so tell me about the bad guys in your script. Tell me about the bad guys in the script. And what's his name? We go, oh, they're space pirates. You know, there's these bad guys, they're space pirates. And the guy goes, what are space pirates? And Jon Schnepp goes, well, they look like the pirates from the movie Ice Pirates. Did you ever see the movie Ice Pirates? And the guy goes, no, I never did. He goes, you should see that movie. And the guy goes, don't tell me what to watch. And John goes, I will tell you what to watch. Go see Ice Pirates, and then you'll know what we're talking about. And the fucking guy was like, okay. And I was like super uncomfortable.
And Schnepp is a guy, he had a show... He had many shows on Adult Swim.
He said 4 or 5.
Yeah, like they know him.
Yeah, and he was just fucking laying into this fucking guy. Just like, fuck this guy. If he doesn't, why do we even have to talk to this fucking guy? Like he was so fucking funny. And then we went to TBS and we were sitting and talking to this guy at TBS, and it was like the head of programming. And this guy from TBS goes, oh yeah, funny thing, someone gave me this vibrator. And it was really a funny situation because then I have this vibrator on my desk and I have all these women coming in here and they're like, what does that vibrator do? And I go, oh, that's nothing. I got a good one for you. And I tell them the story about my cousin having the vagina molded off of her vagina, the toy molded off of her vagina, right? So I tell that story and he laughs, right? And then John goes, both you guys don't know anything. One time I face fucked the lead singer of Guar's girlfriend, and then the lead singer of Guar walked in and saw me face fucking her and was like, hey, are you fucking my girlfriend's face, you son of a bitch? And they got so mad, and everyone in the room was like, he just shut the whole room down. He was like a pirate. Because
it got to a point where Brian Henson was like, you can't bring Schnepp on the pitch meetings.
Well, we were like, if he's coming, he needs to just behave and be
Can
cool.
He just sit there?
Yeah, because he was a fucking loon, man, but he was so damn good. He was so creative, but, fun, crazy to work with, Anyways, all right, tell me your story. Tell me the update.
We got some updates. We've had a lot of podcasts that have picked up some press in recent memory. So we had Farrah Abraham on the show. We talked about it a little bit on the live show, but we got picked up in the tabloids to talk. There were 5 or 6 articles that ran about that one, and it was all talking about how she said that Teen Mom was 75% fake.
Oh yeah,
and I was blown away. The tabloids were like, "What a liar!" Like I was like, well, how can you doubt that reality shows are mostly fake? Like that to me is the most truthful thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like she talked about how they would tell her things to say.
She also what's weird was like,
and you just saw her the other day.
I did. I just saw her the other day. When we had her on the show, we said to her, Farrah, what do you feel like you're going to be doing in 10 years from now? Yeah. And she said,
I kind of think I'll be the next Oprah or Ellen.
Right. And we were like, you just did porn for the 4th time. Like, you're not going to be those things. And I was like, why in God's name would she say something like that?
What she should say.
And the reason that she says it is because 2 days later, it's a fucking article.
Yeah.
Like she knows
how to
what
work the
she's
tabloids.
doing.
Yeah.
She is she's kind of like an evil genius in
Mm-hmm.
some ways because she says really fucked up, crazy shit. She
Yeah.
does really I don't know if you just saw what happened was
The thing with the dog?
with the dog. She played a practical joke with her kid,
telling their neighbor that their dog died.
and
then her dog died.
Yeah, then her dog died.
Like the next day.
Yeah, within a day.
Yeah.
Like she's like some sort of bizarre force.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, we're not implying that she killed her dog or anything. But just
No,
to make that
it's
clear.
just that she is a very stranger a
what
character
I think she
than
should
I
have
thought.
said, and this I think actually could be the case, where what she should say is, I think I'll be the next Kim Kardashian.
Right.
'Cause I think she totally could be the next Kim Kardashian. Like, she's somebody.
She's one Ray J away from that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's already done that aspect of it.
I think so.
Like, people are intrigued by her.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with.
No, you're right. She doesn't need
stuff,
a Ray J.
but-
She could just. She's already at that point. She could just turn a corner.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was the Fair Abraham show that came out at some time in the near future that was just her.
Oh man, people fucking hate her so much.
They really
I've
do. hate her
never
anyway.
seen so
I've
much
never seen
hate.
it. Yeah, it was outrageous. I was at a party the other day.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to somebody like, "Oh, you do a podcast. Who are some of the people on your podcast or whatever?" And I mentioned a couple things, and something came up about how I like watching bad TV. And they're like, "Oh, well, I like watching bad TV. I watch Teen Mom." I'm like, "Oh, we just had one of the Teen Moms on our podcast." They're like, "Which one?" I was like, "Oh, Fair Abraham." They're like, "Oh, she's the worst person in the world." And I was like, "You're like 45 and a lawyer. Like, who cares? Like, why are you watching? Why are you watching this? And why are you so upset about Fair? Like, people hate her.
And why do they hate her? Like,
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Like, I'd have to watch that show, and that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, I don't want to watch her on the show.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
No. I'm enjoying there's only one TV show on right now, airing new episodes that I'm in love with, and it is called The Proposal. I'm obsessed with that show.
It shows so bad.
I'm not.
By the way, that's the bad show that I mentioned that I watch.
Yeah.
That they were like, "Oh, well, I watched Teen Mom, so that's the bad show I watch."
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I truthfully really enjoy The Proposal. I think
it is the worst human beings on planet Earth.
It is, because it's girls coming out on stage going, hi, I can't see who you are, and I've never seen your face, but
and we've been talking for 15 minutes.
We've only met just now, but I want to marry you, and I believe God put me here in this position, and Jesus.
Yeah.
And then
My mom's here to also so that she can witness this blessed event.
And then the guy's like, send her home. You know? Or it's the other way, where it's like a guy
30
comes
guys.
out and the guy's like, hi, I'm a guy. Please pick me. I'm a fireman. You know, like,
Check out my abs.
Check out my hey, bro. Check out my abs, bro. It's just so embarrassing.
It's the worst people.
You're like, who are these people that want to get married right now to
Like,
no one?
That show is just Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire without pretending the person's a millionaire.
Yeah, they're not
it's
a
the exact
millionaire.
same show.
It's not. They're not even a millionaire.
Yeah.
They're just a person.
On Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire, he wasn't really a millionaire anyway, so...
What?
He was a comic. He wasn't a millionaire. He had real estate that might have made his net worth $1 million. He wasn't like a millionaire with money.
Oh God. The only other show.
And those two actually got married. He married Darva Conger.
Oh my God.
I don't. Why do I know her name? Why do I know the name of the woman who got married?
Why would you know
was,
that?
I don't know.
That's embarrassing. Man.
I shouldn't know these things. That's something I know. Yeah.
Yeah. The other big, one of the other big news things that happened. So we had
Tyler Shields.
Tyler Shields on the show. Tyler Shields comes on. He's the guy that took the photo of Kathy Griffin holding Donald Trump's severed head.
Yes.
He tells these amazing stories. His photos.
By the way, really good show. Really interesting
Really.
person. Fascinating life story.
Yeah. If you haven't already listened to it, you should listen to it. It's a fucking great story.
That's probably my favorite show we've done in the entire year.
Yeah, I
in
believe
2018.
so. I
Yeah.
get that. Not to
And we ruined your jacket that day, so it was great.
son of a bitch.
You
I
had
got
a-
this
you had a
jacket.
jacket.
I got this cool fucking jacket. It was so fucking cool. It was a pink dolphin
You
jacket.
thought it was cool?
I thought it was so cool.
And then I made fun of it.
Do you want to hear the worst?
Mike
part
Black
of that?
made fun of it.
Is this going to make it even sweeter? Are you
Uh-huh.
ready?
Yeah.
No, you don't. No one knows this. That jacket didn't fit me.
Oh,
It was
I know.
too small.
Oh, I noticed.
You noticed.
Yeah.
What did you notice?
it didn't fit you right. It was too small for you.
No, Matt. The jacket was too small, so I brought it in.
Oh, you had it let out?
I had them let it out. I had them take another jacket of mine and chop it up into pieces and use it to extend it in every possible way to make it a bigger jacket. And then I wore it out for the first time. Everyone fucking hated the jacket.
Because I made fun of your jacket. I was like, this jacket looks stupid. Then you're like, oh, but people are going to like this jacket. It's a cool jacket.
Like it. It's cool. And I go,
we're
hey,
like,
Tyler
let's
Shields.
ask Mike Black.
Yeah.
And Mike Black was like, "What's with the stupid jacket?"
Yeah, and I go, "This jacket is cool, guys."
You're like, oh, let's ask. You're like, you guys don't know fashion. You don't know fashion.
I'll ask Tyler Shields.
Tyler Shields takes high fashion photos all the time. Like he's with models. He works with models. He knows fashion.
Yeah.
What does he think? And he's like, "Your jacket sucks, dude."
He's like, "That jacket's awful. I don't know who told you that was a cool jacket. Get it the fuck off." Yeah, that's 100% true.
That's awesome. I didn't know you had it let out with.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so like you were like invested in the jacket.
I was invested in the jacket. I put money into that jacket.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that sad?
That's great.
I know.
I've never been more proud of ruining a jacket.
Well, I'm happy.
Awesome.
I'm happy for you that you got to enjoy that experience.
That makes it so much better for me. So Tyler Shields told a story about after the photo with Kathy Griffin and that went out. He was getting death threats, 10,000 death threats a day in that range, right?
Yeah.
So he couldn't leave his house. He had Secret Service outside his house for like a month. Couldn't leave. His neighbors brought food over. So he called Postmates to bring him some food.
Right. Postmates brings him the food, and then he notices that his food's been messed with. He looks inside of it and realizes it's been poisoned. All right.
He
thinks it's been poisoned.
He believes it might have been poisoned, so he didn't eat the steak because like the steak was cut into and the packaging was open, and he thought that.
So he's like, maybe this has been poisoned. So then he says that on our show, right? That ends up being an article. That story
was on
gets
The
picked
Blaze?
Up.
The Buzz.
No. That got picked up by Radar
Online?
Yeah.
One of those. Okay.
So that blows up, right, on Radar. It gets, tons. It gets us lots of downloads. People are listening to the show and checking it out and commenting and all this kind of stuff, right? What ends up happening is the fucking president of Postmates reaches out to Tyler and calls him out.
Gets a phone call.
And it's like, we need to talk. We need to talk about this. And they sent like an investigative team to like check it all out. They go back through the records. They find the guy that delivered it, the whole bit. It was a fucking mess.
He's on death row now.
Oh, God.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that was
because all we know is that the president of Postmates called him and they identified the exact order and they found the guy. Yeah. And now we got to find out from Tyler what happened next.
I think they're prosecuting the guy. I think that's all going down right now. Yeah, so that's...
We don't know.
But something is happening. So
President
there was
Postmates,
that
don't call me, call Steven.
And then, of course, we had the Mean Girls situation. That was a whole bunch of nonsense. Where
with Jonathan Bennett
and Daniel Franzese from Mean Girls come on, and they tell the story
on our live story
on our live show, and they tell a story that when they wanted to come out of the closet, they were told by their managers and by their people that work for that represent them not to come out of the closet, right? And so
really, Daniel was hardly in the closet.
No, but
he'd been doing Broadway musicals, and he was like flamboyant,
But they were still in the closet.
But Jonathan Bennett was more of like the leading man type,
right?
So like with him, they were like, if you do that, this might ruin your career,
right? So
because at the time, this is 10 years ago, and it was a different world.
It's a different time period. So then all this stuff comes out. They tell this story. They're laughing. We're all having a great time. Yeah. The audience, it's killing. Great, funny story. Anyways, article comes out, and it turns into someone in someone's team thought that what they meant by management,
they meant Paramount or something.
Paramount, that the studio somehow didn't.
Yeah, and the studio didn't care.
The studio didn't care.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the studio. It was all about them and their own personal reps. But I had to fucking reach out to these different magazines that were all
to clarify.
All these magazines were running this story that management didn't want them to come out of the closet and all this other kind of stuff. So I had to reach out to a couple of them to try to ask them to change the way that they were saying it. One or two said yes. One or two told me to go fuck myself. They're like, "You're lucky we're talking about your podcast at all, dickhead." But it was and then a few I couldn't get a hold of. But it was that was crazy. What a crazy fucking. Yeah. It's been interesting, And then, what happened was after the Fair Abraham thing, we started catching a lot of attention, right? And then we started catching more attention, and not always good attention, right? And, people say, oh, there's no bad press. There's only good press, right?
That's my belief.
Yeah, no, and I believe that too, but I also believe that, like, I don't want to piss off or scare away the possibility of having great guests because,
Because tabloids listen to our show.
Tabloids are listening to us, right? So then I decided we should do a palate cleanser, and we did. And
it was great.
Very fun.
We went to the LA Zoo, and we went with John Lewis, who's the director.
Zoo director.
Of the entire place. So he's basically the head man in charge. And we learned all about, like, his rural upbringing and how he was going to be a veterinarian, and he took a job at a zoo just because he needed the money. And then it's been a whole big career. And it was really fascinating. Then after we interviewed him, which is a great show, that was the last one we put up, I think.
Yeah.
We got to go walk around the zoo, and they took us inside the sloth enclosure.
We got to meet the sloth.
We got to pet the sloth.
That was so cool.
We got to see the armadillo.
Yeah, they
hold it
together.
up, and it's like a little ball.
Yeah.
And they said that the sloth likes this armadillo. There's
current
roommate.
We were like, what are you talking about? Like, because Mike Glazer goes, hey, how did you know that these two would actually like each other?
Like, how did you know that you could put these two together?
Yeah, armadillo and a sloth would like each other. And the lady goes, well, the sloth likes this armadillo.
Yeah, it didn't like the one that used to live there.
Yeah.
Because they have, so inside the sloth enclosure at the, it's in like the children's zoo section of the LA Zoo. If you look at it, there's like a little box with a hole in it. That's the armadillo house. So the armadillo can like hang out in its little house because I guess they tend to like burrow, I think, or something, like they hide under things.
Yeah.
So like they don't want to just be out in the wild all the time. But so the armadillo house is there, and it's got like a hole where the armadillo walks in, and the sloth, which only poops once a week,
right?
Which was interesting to learn. Much like me, poops once a week.
Poops once a week.
So the sloth didn't like the old armadillo, and they found out because it used to poop in front of the doorway for the armadillo house. And they're like...
Yeah, so it pooped in front of the doorway of the armadillo house.
And they're like, oh, this is where the sloth wants to poop, so let's move the armadillo house.
Right. So they move it to the other side of the thing.
And then the sloth pooped in front of the doorway again.
A week later.
And it just...
Like, he just crawled over to it like... Yeah. Don't make me tell you again.
Like once a week, he would just go over and poop in front of the armadillo's house because he didn't like him.
I think you and me are going to have a fight, Matt, about who gets to do that story on stage because I really want to tell that story. That's a fucking great story. But if you want to tell it on stage...
You can do it. I don't care.
I love that fucking story. Just that he crawled across the floor and was like, I'm pooping.
Because they don't even like going on the ground.
You son of a bitch.
Like sloths like to...
They hate it.
To be up above.
And for him to eat all week just knowing I'm gonna shit in front of this guy's house. This armadillo thinks he's a big deal. Hey, he's nothing. He's nothing. Fucking dickhead. Yeah. All right. And then just squatted down, took a dump in front of his front door. I love that. And then I love that Mike Black was like, I did that in front of my roommate. And he kicked me out.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a fucking great story.
Yeah.
It really, really is. And I loved going to the zoo. I thought we had a fucking great time. It was nice.
It was a good time, yeah.
Yeah, and it really inspired us. We sat around. We're coming up with other locations of other places we want to go to and go interview people at, like at the the Science Center, Jet Propulsion Labs.
We're talking to some people.
Yeah, Hollywood
like
Bowl.
Yeah.
Go interview the guy who runs the Hollywood Bowl or the lady that runs Hollywood Bowl. Could be very, very cool.
Yeah.
And I think, that's something that I do really want to keep interviewing, fascinating, bizarre people. But I think it's fun every once in a while to have someone who's a little bit of tabloid fodder. Like if I could have Amanda Bynes on this show, I would
100%.
fucking do it in a heartbeat.
100%.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with it being press-worthy as much as it has to do with just the fact that we could talk to this person.
Like who's had a public meltdown.
We were just trying to get TJ Miller on the show. Like the other night, we were talking to him. We were going to go over to his house and go record with him. And I just want to talk to him because he's a fucking fascinating creature.
TJ Miller's Teflon. Nothing sticks.
Nothing sticks to TJ Miller.
It's amazing.
He's seriously. People say, whatever the fuck they want about him. And he said to me, you know what I do? Because I said, what do you, what can you do when people are saying horrible shit about you, or they're making stuff up, or like, what do you do? And he said, silence. Just stay quiet, let things turn over, and then people forget. Like,
they do.
He goes, if you fucking engage and start like trying to like defend yourself a whole bunch, shit,
you come off looking bad.
You come off looking like a fucking asshole. So just let shit fucking slide away, because most of it slides away. The stuff that is not sliding away, I'm sure that he has to deal with, is the whole, train bomb.
Well, ones that actually lead to him going to court.
Yeah, that'll actually lead to him having to deal with that shit. But I love T.J. Miller. We've been friends for a very, very long time. I'm okay. I don't know. I don't know what everybody does. I don't know what everybody does. I don't know what people do. Like, it's like when I was spending all this time with Jeremy Piven before this, before the second set of allegations came out, right?
And after.
And I hung out with him one time after. But it's a tricky thing with people when you hang out with somebody and you're like, oh, I like this person. They seem like a pretty nice person.
It's like when you went to a party and you met Chris Brown.
Yeah, I hung out with Chris Brown, and Chris Brown was so unbelievably charismatic that by the time he finished talking to me, I was questioning, like, Rihanna.
Like, well, what did Rihanna do?
I was like, what happened? Not to sound like a fucking asshole, but I was like, he was so fucking nice to me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because people aren't, like, when people are nice to me, like, I get tricked into thinking.
Also, you're spending, like, 2 hours of your life with them.
That's true. I'm only it's a
you're
very limited
them
time.
On their best behavior, and anyone on their best behavior is usually a great person.
That's
so
very, very true. No, you're right. I mean, but look, this business is...
Like, you could probably hang out with Charlie Sheen and be like, this guy makes a lot of sense. He's just like a total down-to-earth cool guy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I
for 5 minutes. Charlie Sheen, 5 minutes.
Yeah,
That's what you
yeah.
got.
No, I bet you, like, there's certain people I think you can spend time with that are fucked up or may have, like, a fucked up history, and you can spend a few minutes with them and be like, "No, this person's pretty cool." Fucking
you're like,
with.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what the big deal is about this fucking guy.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. There's other people that some people you can't.
Some people just. They're always abrasive.
Yeah, like Rob Schneider, right? Like Rob Schneider I've only met one time, and it was horrific. It was a horrific run-in. We were at the CVS, and I was there buying something, and he was there waiting for the pharmacist, and he goes, "You don't understand." He's saying the pharmacist, "You don't understand. I need this pain medication because my daughter just broke her tooth and she needs this pain medication, and the doctor called it in and it should be ready, and fucking if it's not ready, I don't know what to fucking do." He's yelling at the lady, right? And the lady's like, "I'm so sorry, sir, but we haven't gotten there's no confirmation from no doctor yet," and they're going back and forth like this for like a while, and finally he was like, "Well, I'm fed up. I don't know what to do." And finally I turned to him and I go, "Hey, Rob Schneider, hey, I'm a comedian. We kind of know each other a little through a few people.
Because you know his brother.
I know his brother a little bit. I go, we know some of the same people. I go, how about this? I have Vicodin in my car because I had a toothache and they gave me Vicodin.
So you tried to do an illegal drug deal with Rob Schneider?
No, I was like, you could just have my Vicodin for your daughter. It'd be fine. And he goes, I'm not taking your car drugs, okay? All right, I don't need your car drugs. I was like, I'm just offering.
I got to side with him.
Oh, come on.
That just sounds like... Because he doesn't know you. Like, you're just some guy saying that you know some of the same people.
Look, you can IMDb me, I'm not like just some fucking asshole. You can find me.
You sound like just a weirdo.
You can find me.
This is how that comes off. You're just like, hey, man. Hey, dude. We know some of the same people. I got some drugs for you. You want some drugs?
You want some drugs? I got drugs.
That's what that sounds like.
I try to be nice,
and by the way, that's highly illegal. You can't give somebody your Vicodin.
What are you talking about?
That's illegal.
You can't give someone your Vicodin.
No. It's a controlled substance.
I'm going to be in a lot of trouble then.
Better call your lawyer. All right. Well, there was one news story that reminded me of you that we should talk about. And that involves one of the greatest human beings on planet Earth.
Okay.
William Shatner.
Oh, sure.
One of the most important people to ever live
in the history of
of the world.
Yeah.
William Shatner, the great Captain Kirk. So he announced on social media that he was going to Comic-Con. He was happy about going, and he was going to sign autographs, and he was going to take pictures of people there, which is what you do at a convention, right? And he goes to Star Trek conventions, and he goes to sci-fi conventions and comic conventions, and does that. But he said, if you see me out in public, please do not ask me for a photo, and please do not ask me for an autograph, because the answer will be no.
Wow.
Because he says, if I say yes to one, then all of a sudden there's 50. And he's like, yeah, I come off like an asshole if I say no to one, or if I say no to number 21, somebody's going to be mad at me. So I might as well just say no the first time and just go about my business. And then people were tweeting at him all day saying like, well, blah, blah, blah. And if I see you in this situation, he's like, no, I value my time, and you don't have the right to my time. I go there to the conventions. That's when you can have my time.
Right.
That's when he makes his time for you. And you had a little experience with him. Not in public, even. It was in...
Yeah, it was on the lot at Paramount.
Filming Big Time Rush.
Filming Big Time Rush, and we were shooting on the Star Trek stage. Mm-hmm. And I saw him sitting in a golf cart.
I think it's the one where they made Wrath of Khan.
I believe
that same
so,
set.
yeah. And he was sitting in a golf cart across the street, and I was like, hey, I'm going to go over. Not street.
It's on the lot.
It's on the lot, yeah. So I walk over to him and I go, Mr. Shatner, in front of everybody from my show.
The entire cast.
Whole cast. Everyone's watching me do this. I go, Mr. Shatner, I'm such a big fan. It's so cool to meet you. Wow, just really, really neat. Hey, we shoot our show on your old stage, and I'm just such a big fan of your work. Do you mind if I have a picture real quick? And he goes, no, meeting me's enough. And everyone in the cast heard this. And then for the rest of the year, all of them would just be like, I go, hey guys, let's take a picture. They'd go, no, meeting us is enough. They just kept using that for me, right? So anyways, years go by, and my mom wanted to go to this equestrian center, horse, live auction thing.
It's like a fundraiser.
A fundraiser. Yeah. And who's hosting the event but William fucking Shatner? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, William Shatner is hosting this. That's so funny, because I just had this whole horrible thing happen with him a couple years ago. So my mom's like, oh, it's okay. I'm a big, big fan. So we go, we watch him, and he's the host, and it's great. Night is over. We go outside, and he is sitting in his car with the car running, and he's texting on his phone. My mom walks up. She goes, oh my gosh, there he is. There's William Shatner sitting in the car. I go, I'm going to go over and say a quick hi to him. I go, Mr. Shatner, hey there. We met on the Paramount lot a couple of years ago. Me and my mom were here tonight, and we were bidding on the auction. You did a great job. She just wants to say a quick thing. And he goes, all right. And my mom goes, I just want to say, Mr. Shatner, I think what you're doing for the animals is just such a wonderful... And he goes, takes his foot off the brake and rolls away while she's still talking. 100% true. And I think
that was basically him being like, Scotty, one to beam up.
Yeah, beam me up now, Scotty. One of my favorite things ever about Star Trek, I don't know if you know this or not, is...
oh, really?
Maybe.
Is there something you think that you know about Star Trek that I don't?
Did you know that Gene Roddenberry's brain was insured?
I do know. Because you've told me multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. Because my grandmother's brother was the insurance agent that created the document to insure body parts.
Yeah. So then he did Mary Hart's legs.
And he did Fred Astaire's legs, and he did Liberace's hands, and he did Sammy Davis Jr.'s penis. No, but he did Gene Roddenberry's brain, right? And so because of that...
How much could I insure my penis for?
$45.
Okay.
Yeah. So long story short, if you're excited, 48. What ended up happening was...
$1 per inch.
He's a grower, folks, and a shower. What ended up happening is my mom was dating my dad, and my dad, by the way, who I said before, big piece of shit, loved Star Trek, loved it so much. He was obsessed with it. And so my mom got invited without him to go to a party for the cast of Star Trek, the original Star Trek.
When they were still married, or
this was before they were married, when they were
okay.
just dating.
Yeah.
So my mom goes, I'm going to go off and I'll try to get you an autograph. And she goes to this Star Trek party, and it's every cast member from the original series is there, and they're like at
so you got Shatner and Nimoy.
They're at Nimoy's house.
Okay.
And everyone is fucked up on hashish. Everyone's doing hashish in
allegedly.
The house. Everyone's doing drugs. There's drugs everywhere. My mom was being told they were like, "Don't take that. That's acid."
According to Steven's mom, not according to me. Don't
everyone's
sue me.
doing drugs at this fucking party, right? And they're offering my mom drugs. My mom was like 16, and they're offering her drugs, and they're all trying to fuck my mom. Like they're all hitting on my mom, including
again allegedly, according to Steven's mom.
Not Chekhov, not
Walter Koenig.
But
he denied this story when you brought it up to him. By the way,
he did. I know.
Yeah.
The other guy, who was the other guy? Forrest.
DeForest
Kelly was trying to fuck my mom, right? So, anyways, my mom. This is the story. This is the story that's been passed out.
Hey, let me show you why they call me Bones.
So then my mom goes home, and my dad's like, "Oh, how did it go? Did you guys have fun? Were they nice? Did they sign autographs?" She's like, "One of them tried to fuck me, and they all tried to get me to do drugs." I always thought that was so funny.
I bet George Takei wasn't trying to bang her.
No, I'd probably not. He'd probably try to bang my dad. I love George Takei. He's one of my favorite.
Big fan.
Yeah, we need to have more Star Trek people on the show. It's not fair.
Really That's what I've been saying for 2.5 years.
We'll do it. We're gonna get it. We're gonna keep it going and keep good things happening.
Cool. We got a lot of good shows coming up, I think.
Yeah.
We're working on a very cool thing for the live show on August 18th. I won't reveal what it is yet.
Yeah, but we
have a possible world record attempt happening on the show.
Yeah, we have a possible world record attempt. We have another cast reunion of another show. We have some 60s, 70s, like 1970s television star people that we're trying to pull in.
Really cool.
Really exciting.
People that everyone has seen
in their life.
Regardless of how old you are, you know the shows that they've been on, and you've seen these shows. And we don't want to reveal the names yet because we're still trying to lock everything in. But I think it's going to be a really fun one.
It will be. It will be, for sure. Yeah. This has been really fun. I'm happy that we got to do this. It was good laughs, Matt. I appreciate that. Where can people find you on the internet, Matt?
You can go to funnymatt.com. I got links to everything there. Or if you were upset by anything I said tonight, please let me know at mattwalkersucks.com.
Yes, that is 100% true. And you can always get me at Stephen Glickman, STEPHEN Glickman, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Also, Xbox. Don't forget to, if you play Fortnite, you can jump on with me. We can play some Fortnite.
Are you still taking people on Grand Theft Auto to rock records?
No, I'm only playing Fortnite these days. I can't get back into Grand Theft Auto. It's fucking weird. Do you ever do that? You play one thing for a while and then you try something else and you just can't go back to it. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll play when the next Grand Theft Auto comes out, or when the Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Revolver, that one comes out. I'll play the hell out of that. But
Red Dead Redemption 2.
But right now, Fortnite is fun because I'm playing it with a bunch of. Oh my God! Can I tell you? Just sorry to jump subject for a second, but. I am currently making, I think it's going to be up tomorrow, the most narcissistic, I just burped, the most narcissistic video I've ever made in my life. And you're in it.
That's a pretty high bar.
It is. You're in the video, though.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, I decided I wanted to find a picture of me from a red carpet from March of every year going back as far back as the pictures go. So I started with March 2010, I think is the first one that I was able to find. It's 2010 or 2009, somewhere in there. Right around the time when Big Time Rush was in its middle of first season, right? So I started posting all these pictures. They're just looking at all the different weird outfits that I was wearing at some of this shit. Like the stuff that I thought was cool And I was wearing costume shit out in the real world.
You were wearing like onesies and stuff.
I was wearing weird stuff, man.
Yeah.
Weird suits, denim suits.
Jackets that you had altered to
because
fit better.
I badly wanted...
looked terrible.
I wanted attention so bad and knew the only way I was going to get attention from being on that show was to dress like a fucking lunatic out in the real world, because most adults that are on kid shows no one gives a shit about. So I wanted to keep trying to make an impact, right? Okay, so long story short. The other night, too late. I'm going on. I go on Getty Images to go see if there's any new pictures from that
new
basketball.
Pictures, not nude pictures.
No, new pictures, right, from the basketball game thing. And I come across.
By the way, he went to a celebrity charity basketball game, which I saw a clip from it on ESPN the other day.
Really?
Yeah, they showed
a clip.
They showed Floyd Mayweather trying to take a shot and he got blocked.
I'll tell you who was at the thing. You guys, you want to hear who was on the thing?
Yeah.
I brought these with me.
Okay.
This is who was playing. This is who was playing at the charity event. It was called the 50K Charity Challenge.
Yeah.
And it was Monster and Live Nation and a couple other companies.
Big sponsors.
Right? So I got to sit courtside with our dear friend, DJ Paul from 3-6 Mafia, the Oscar winner. Yeah. So here's who was playing on one team. One of the teams was Andre Drummond's team. Andre Drummond from the NBA All-Star from the Detroit Pistons. He was one of the coaches. And then on his team, it was Brittany Elena from MTV's Wild and Out, Colton Underwood, former NFL player and ABC's Bachelorette, David Wise, American freestyle skier, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, Donovan Carter, UCLA alum and the star of Ballers on HBO, James Keeson, star of NBC's Heroes, Jenna Frooms, actress and model, Lindsay Arnold from ABC's Dancing with the Stars, Lisa Marie Vaughn, WWE's Victoria, Miles Brown, he's from the show Blackish. He plays the little kid on the show. Yeah. Nick Vale, Nick Vale, who was the Bachelor on NBC, big fan. Omarion, multi-platinum recording artist. Omarion, Rashad Jennings, former NFL star of Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, played for the Giants.
Simeon Rice.
Simeon
Rice.
Yeah, he was on the Cardinals.
There we go. He was
Very
there.
Good player.
Tank, the recording artist Tank was there, and then Terrell Owens, right?
And Floyd Mayweather.
Hang on. That was just one team.
Oh, okay.
Here's the other team. And these are all people.
Just do the names. Who cares?
Fine.
We don't need to know.
All right. The other team was Eric Dickerson.
Yeah,
NFL Hall of Famer.
We're gonna get Eric Dickerson on the show. I would love to talk to Eric.
We should get a lot of these people on the show. We'll decide, you and me, who you like, and then I'll go after them, because I was there and met them, but you weren't there. And if you would have been there, you probably would have helped me figure out who some of these people were.
Tell you who they are.
I know,
because you don't know any of the athletes.
I don't know, but they were all very nice. Brian Bramman, Super Bowl champion. I don't know that
name, but
that's okay. Brandon Marshall from the Broncos. Krissa Jackson, Harlem Globetrotter, DJ Irie, celebrity DJ, Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, one of the greatest boxing champions of all time. Jalen Love, Kendra Wilkinson, of course we know, Manifest, Natalie Eva Marie. She's a diva from WWE. NBA's Young Boy. Noel Guglielm, I don't know who that is. P. Real, Rampage Jackson, Shiggy, Tremaine Brock, Truman Johnson, Jets quarterback, Chris Saunders, Tammy Bronner, and Kamarion. I don't know, but that was all these different people, right? So they're all playing, and then I'm sitting there courtside, middle of the fucking show, and they're like, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. Welcome to the middle of the court, Tyga." So Tyga comes out and performs. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Tyga.
And he used to date one of the Jenners?
Yeah. Okay. So he's performing, and then he's like in the middle of his rap song, and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Izzy Azalea," and then Izzy comes out. Iggy Azalea. Iggy Azalea comes out, and she's twerking on him. I've never. That woman is more ass than she is person.
Yeah.
Like her body is redonkulous. Like I was like, I couldn't. You have to watch the video. I posted the video of her twerking on him. It was, I didn't
and
know
all
what
this
to
came
look
about
at.
because you were looking for pictures of yourself. That's why we were.
Yeah, this all is from because I was looking for a picture of myself. Right. So
that
I
event.
I was looking for a picture of myself, and I come across video clips on Getty Images, and they're video clips dating all the way back to 2010 of me. And you a lot. It's like you keep showing up.
We went to a lot of stuff.
We go to a lot of shit together.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's before I was with Rachel. It's then now with Rachel. Like it's from 2010 on to present day. And I took every single video down. I ripped all of them down. And then I put them in Final Cut Pro. I flipped them backwards,
so they're not going to get.
They're not going to get. I'm not going to get any shit for it. Except people will probably report
They'll
it because of this.
Whatever.
But I cut the.
Watch it when he first puts it up.
Yeah, I cut the whole thing. I'm going to put it up on my Instagram TV, like Insta TV.
Yeah.
And it is so fucking weird to watch. Like almost 10 years of my life go by within about 2 minutes of me just being like a fucking jackass saying stupid shit to these random camera guys. And it's very, very narcissistic, but it's also kind of a fascinating, weird thing that you can, that all that footage exists, you know? And I just wanted to have all of it to be able to show people like, look, this is like 10 years almost of my life, you know, kind of, you know, in real random places where I'm like, you know, it's you and me in, you know, talking about who's the guy about Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh yeah,
that clip is on there.
That's when I was yelling at Billy Ray Cyrus when he sang with Slash.
Yeah,
and it was basically Slash and Duff, I think, from Guns N' Roses, and Matt Sorum. And we went to see them, and they were doing some like benefit concert with like a bunch of guest singers, and it was like the guy from Slipknot and a guy from
Juliette Lewis performed.
Juliette Lewis was there, and then Billy Ray Cyrus came out and he sang Paradise City with them.
And he played the tambourine.
He played tambourine and danced around.
Yeah.
And then outside, he was the big name outside for some reason. Like, he was the get for the people. And I started yelling at him, and the paparazzi got mad at me because I was yelling. I was like, your daughter's a whore. I was doing anything I could to try to get a rise out of him just to be a jackass because I'm a bad person.
You are a bad person.
And, like, the paparazzi were getting mad at me. They're like, he's going to leave. And I'm like, okay. I care about you getting a photo of Billy Ray Cyrus.
Very, very strange.
Yeah.
By the way, Miley Cyrus, not a whore.
No.
Just a freewheeling titties on deck lady.
I have no problem with Miley Cyrus. I actually only said that to upset Billy Ray Cyrus because I don't like him.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that.
I like Miley. Don't like Billy Ray.
There's weird clips of that. There's clips of you and me at the fucking Grove together and all sorts of weird shit. It's strange. There's a lot of strange stuff in there. But I cut it just so I could, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. I hope everyone tuned out after we gave our Twitter handles because this is the most interesting part.
This is so boring. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening to the show, guys. I love you. And stay safe and
like
stay
it,
healthy.
subscribe, share.
Yes, please.
Leave us a review, all that normal
good
podcast
stuff.
junk.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good night. Bye.
Stand up.